Am I the a-hole for refusing to go back to the same auto shop after they damaged my tire and now want me to miss work to fix their mistake? I'm honestly still processing how something as simple as a tire repair turned into this mess. So last Friday, I got a nail in my tire. Roadside assistance came and put my spare on. Before doing anything else, I took a photo of the tire showing exactly what was wrong. A single nail puncture, no sidewall damage. On Saturday morning, I took the tire to an auto shop to be repaired and reinstalled. I specifically went on the weekend so I wouldn't miss work. From the start, the vibe felt off. The manager was rushed, short with me, and didn't really listen. After they took my tire into the service area, they called me into the back and showed me a large slash in the sidewall and immediately started telling me I'd need to buy a brand new tire. Pricing, options, the whole pitch. I told them there was no way the tire looked like that when I brought it in. They didn't believe me until I showed them the photo I took beforehand. Only then did they admit the damage must have happened while the tire was in their possession. After some back and forth, they replaced the tire because I refused to pay for the damage I didn't cause. Here's where it gets worse. The paperwork they gave me listed a completely different tire than the one actually installed on my car. That matters because of the warranty. If something happens to this tire and I present the receipt, it won't match and they can deny coverage. They're aware of this, and I still don't have the corrected documentation. At that point, I stopped dealing with the store directly and contacted corporate. I no longer trusted that location. After that, the store manager texted me personally saying they ordered another tire and want me to come back again to install it. I didn't respond because I wanted corporate to handle it. Now an area director has contacted me as part of the corporate case. Here's the problem. They want me to come in during the week, which would require me to miss work to fix damage they admitted causing. They also want me to return to the same location where this happened. They haven't offered compensation, alternative arrangements, or another shop, just another visit. As a woman dealing with car repairs, I already tend to be cautious. After being accused of bringing in a damaged tire and only being believed because I had photo proof, I no longer feel comfortable with that shop touching my vehicle. So now I'm wondering if I'm being unreasonable. Am I the a-hole for refusing to go back and pushing for a different solution? What I'm considering asking for is having another shop install the correct tire at their expense, compensation for lost time and inconvenience, keeping communication in writing instead of phone calls. I'm not trying to be difficult, I just don't want to keep losing time and energy fixing a mistake I didn't make. If I hadn't taken the photo, I genuinely believe they would have blamed me and moved on. So am I the a-hole? Wow, so lots of things to unpack with this story, and I'm kind of torn in a few directions. Obviously, it sounds like there could be some pretty shady tactics happening at this shop, and it doesn't really sound like that's necessarily being acknowledged. It sounds like corporate and their area director are maybe hoping to fix the situation without making a huge deal out of it. And I don't think it's unreasonable for you to try to push to being able to go in on the weekend, but trying to have them pay for the expense of you going to a different shop is a little unreasonable, I think, even despite everything. And as far as compensation for lost time and inconvenience, I mean, it's starting to sound like a lawsuit that would end up not really being worth the expense. And I'm no legal expert, but I mean, we're not talking about super expensive stuff here. I don't know what you do for a living, so, there's no context as far as what your time is worth, but sometimes screwed up things happen, and for better or for worse, it does sound like the business is at least trying to fix the situation, at least from a corporate level. I don't know what's happening on a local level. And I think after this, there could be some things that happen behind the scenes that you wouldn't hear about, such as someone's employment status, but it's hard to say. I definitely don't think you're the a-hole for trying to hold them accountable, but I do think that you do need to continue to be reasonable, because there's only so much they're going to be able to do for you that wouldn't be going way above and beyond, even despite the circumstances. Like, you're definitely not going to get any business to compensate you for your time unless you manage to sue them. And if that's the case, between court costs and a good lawyer for a ridiculous lawsuit, do you really think that that's going to pan out in anybody's favor other than lawyers? I don't think so, and definitely not worth the cost. I would just put your foot down and make them service it on the weekend so that you're not missing payroll hours, and make sure that they have at least proper documentation for everything that's happening, and document the crap out of everything, because if you need to continue to go over their heads with the corporate management, then do that. And then never go there ever again. And speaking from experience, it definitely helps to know somebody who works for a shop who can do things for you under the table and not screw you over. We don't all have that luxury, but it definitely doesn't hurt to talk with friends of friends to see if they know a trustworthy person to be able to help. Obviously, this kind of situation involving roadside assistance maybe didn't give you a lot of control where things ended up, but it sounds like you chose this shop for one reason or another, and things just didn't pan out, unfortunately. So hold them accountable, make sure they do everything to correct the situation, and do it on your terms. But don't be unreasonable about it. And that's my take. So now I'm curious to know from our listeners. Let me know your thoughts in the comments on this whole situation. Do you think the OP is being unreasonable? Do you think the shop should be able to provide time compensation and other things that they were asking for? Or do you think they should only have to replace the tire and make everything right with the correct documentation and then call it a day? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for tuning in.